like to talk to you about today are the perils of ambition, the pitfalls that we can fall into when we sometimes get ahead of ourselves as school leaders and start to build plans and to set strategic objectives that are beyond the capabilities of where our school and where our people are currently at, and how that in some ways is setting us up to fail. And the issue we mainly have with failure is that it's hard to build upon. So what we're looking to do is to try and be mindful, be cognitive of the levels that we're at in terms of three key areas. First of all is our school. So what I want you to do is have a think about your school if it were to sit on a range, a continuum if you will, between say an outstanding, a high performing school and a school that's stuck. A school that is in its routine, that is in a bit of a rut, that is doing what it has always done and is actually clocked off from the notion of perhaps innovating or working in a creative or even a relational kind of way. And if you think about where your school's at, the next thing I want you to do is to think about where you're at on a different continuum in terms of your own school leadership and what your ambitions are around the way that you lead the school. If you were to take that continuum and, for instance, put on one end structure, so you spend a lot of time working on timetables and operations within the school, and then at the other end of that continuum might be the word empower, where you're very focused in the way that you work on enabling other people to be able to step up and to be able to take responsibility and to be able to do some fantastic things with their own creativity and with their own ideas in the school. Think about where you are on that continuum and think about where does that point where you are on that continuum align with the point of where your school is. If you see a mismatch between the two, then you might find that your ambition, for instance, on the second continuum is too high. You might find that your ambition is above where your school is currently at. And what you need to do is to be able to do a little bit of work at the school level to bring that up so that your ambitions can then also be aligned with that. Then you can push that level a little higher. Where we might have the ambition a little above where the capability is where we have a mismatch that failure is more likely to occur. Now I want to throw one more spanner into the works here, and that is to think about the fact that sometimes as school leaders we have these ambitions and we may be looking to empower, but they're not reflected in our work focus. So one more continuum to keep in mind. Think about the continuum between your work focus as being about survival through to it being about purpose. So is your work focus geared around getting through the day and ticking off as many of the compliances that you need to tick off in the day? Or is it really about connecting to purpose? If people were to observe you in your work, would they be able to see that purpose evident in the way that you go about your business every day? And I would suggest to you that alignment between those three levels is what allows you to push upwards. This provides you with a nice steady platform. But where we have ups and downs, either this way or that way, what we find is that the capability for failure becomes higher. Think a little bit about where your ambitions and your work focus line up with where your school is currently at, and you can start to make some plans for improvement, not perfection, that can allow your school to make some significant school culture progress.